that you get, right? And then I'll try to give you the rebuttals or what have you. So ring, ring, ring,
Yeah.
ring, Carlo.
Yep.
Hey, Carlo, it's Eric Melnikoff with the Melnikoff Real Estate Experience, Keller Williams Realty. I'm calling all the homeowners, right? Yeah, so I got into it a little bit crazy there. Let's try it again. Hello, Carlo.
Is this?
Carlo, this is Eric Melnikoff with the Melnikoff Real Estate Experience. Hey, I'm calling about the home for sale. You're the owner?
Yeah, he got me. I received too many phone calls with realtors already. So,
Yeah, no, I get it. You definitely probably getting a ton of calls. And look, I think it's really annoying. I got to work with these agents. It's hard. I'm calling all the for sale by owners in my market because we know that most for sale by owners, if they can't sell it on their own, will hire an agent. And I was just wondering, what are your plans if you can't sell it on your own?
well, I don't know yet. It's still up in the air. I'm just testing the market.
Okay, I totally understand. I can appreciate that. Sounds like you're testing the market, not 100% on any one direction. And since most for sale by owners do give it between 3 to 4 weeks before they hire an agent, how long do you think you'll test out the market before hiring an agent? Now, real quick, side note, see how he said I'm testing out the market,
Hmm.
and that shows a sign of weakness. That shows a sign of non-direction. They have no real clear thing what they're doing here. So I'm going to latch on to that. And I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to repeat his words. It sounds like you're determined to test out the market, and since you're testing out the market, how long will you go before you hire an agent?
Well, perhaps a couple of months. I do have a friend in the business.
Okay, good. So you have a friend in the business. Seems like everyone does, and so you're thinking a couple months. That makes sense. I totally understand. And I was just curious when you do sell. See now, what I did there was I responded, repeated. I got nothing to say to that really. So now I'm going to the next question. So I'm just curious, is my transition.
Hmm.
I'm just curious. When you do sell, where do you plan on going next?
Well, perhaps I'm going to move back to Florida.
Oh, Florida. That's great. Florida. What part of Florida are you going to?
Well, that's my hometown.
Oh, okay. Do you already have a property there, or do you have to buy something once you get there?
At least close to my relatives. But I need to sell first before I move to Florida.
Okay. So again, when you said at least close to my relatives was not part of my question. Like I said, do you already own a space or a place, or do you have to buy?
Well, I have to buy once it's sell for top dollar.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Uh, so tell me, you've been on the market for how many weeks or how many days? How long have you been on the market for?
It's been in Zillow for just only a week. It's
Okay. And what's the activity been like? You getting a lot of showings? Any offers?
not yet, but phone calls from realtors that they wanna, sign a
Yeah,
contract.
I know. I know it gets frustrating. Have you gotten many calls from buyers or is it mostly realtors?
Most of them are from realtors. That's why if you have a specific buyer, perhaps I can pay you or have a commission at least 1 or 2% for buyer commission fee. Right?
Right. So again, what I'm listening to what he's saying, and I understand how it works. So I want to when I ask that question, the question is to kind of poke at the ribs of the seller without actually saying, I know you're getting calls from agents and not buyers. So I say, are you getting calls? Are you getting a lot of calls from buyers or are you getting mostly agents? So
Mhm.
when I do either or, the second option is usually the option I hope they go with. So I'll say, are you getting calls from a lot of buyers or is it mostly agents? Oh, it's mostly agents. So I know that. I know that's the case. Yeah, it's frustrating. I know. And tell me, why did you decide to sell it yourself, to try to sell yourself rather than list with a professional?
Well, basically, I just want to save commission. I don't want to pay six
Okay,
percent. It's too much.
got it. Well, good for you. You want to save commit. Basically, you want to net the most amount of money in your pocket, correct?
You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a
And
buyer?
no, yeah, no. Look, well, that's a good question. Are you so again? Do you have a buyer? So
Do you have a,
the answer is that's a really good question. And so let me ask you: are you cooperating with agents who do have a buyer?
yeah, at least I can pay 1 or 2% for the commission.
Okay, so 2% for the commission. So really, it sounds like all you're really looking to save is the other 4%, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Well, since you're cooperating with buyers, may I make a suggestion with agents who are working with buyers?
Yeah. What was that?
Uh, my lead agent would like to stop by, take a look at the property, and see if it's perfect for one of the buyers in our database. Currently, we have over 1,100 buyers in our database. Now, I'm not saying that 1,100 of our buyers are going to want your house. In fact, it's probably more like 1 or 2% that your house may actually fit into the criteria. So, what am I doing there out of script? Let me come off the script for a minute. What I'm doing there is I'm letting them know that, look, we have somebody in our office, we have a lot of buyers, and I'm being completely transparent. I'm trying to let them know that, look, I'm not trying to say that I have 100 buyers or 1,000 buyers for your house. What I'm saying is, since we've been doing this for over 4 decades in our team, we've been doing this for 4 decades collectively. We have a lot of buyers in our database. Now, I don't want you to believe that out of the 1,100 buyers, that most or even half will even want your property. It's probably more like 1%, right? So maybe a 10 or a dozen or even 20 people in our database might fit your property might fit their search criteria. What I'd like to do, so I'm being real with them, right? I'm not, and I'm slowing down. Like I notice, and it's a good thing, but it may be to a fault that you stay on track, you stay on track, you stay on track. Whatever they say, you get right back on track, and that's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but at the same time, you also have to slow down a little bit
Hmm.
and give some of this transparency type conversation to let them know that you're one of the good guys. There's a difference, right?
Yeah.
From people who let the person speak and then they deaf ear them, which is a good quality. You deaf ear them so you don't get distracted by their nonsense, and then you stay on track. But there is a level of human uh, accountability that's got to kind of come with that script that makes you feel real, right? So
Hmm.
again, this is going back to they're willing to pay 1 to 2%. Um, we are offering a solution. I have buyers. We have 1,100 buyers in our database. And again, I don't want you to think that I'm not trying to tell you that all 1,100 buyers are going to fight over your house. Usually it's somewhere between 1 and 3%. So anywhere from like a dozen to maybe 3 dozen of those buyers, your house will fit most of their buy box requirements. What
Okay.
I'd like to do is set up an appointment to have our lead agent come by and take a look at the property to see if it's good for any of our buyers. And then they'll go back to the database and they'll match it up with our buyers. And at that point, we may have a couple buyers available. While now, I made that point why we want to come over. While we're there, our agent will leave with you. I want you to emphasize they're going to leave with you a free gift. They're going to leave with you our seller success strategy, whatever we call it. I don't know, what we call it. What do we call it here? In addition,
Seller success strategy for FaceBows.
yeah. So this is basically exactly what we do to sell our homes. Now you could peel some plays out of our playbook and hopefully maybe get the home sold quicker and easier without ever using an agent. And the reason we do that is, again, we want to bring value. And if at certain point in the future you decide that you're going to hire an agent, all we ask is that hopefully we get considered for an interview for the job. Fair enough?
That makes sense.
Great. I can now. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to try to set those walkthroughs for tomorrow or the next day, never for today, and rarely on Fridays, because I'm not available on Fridays, right? I'm usually not available after 3 o'clock on Thursdays. Like 2 o'clock on Thursdays, my last availability. If you don't have our week at a glance appointments, you should text in the group text to please send that out. I'm doing it right now. Yeah, so I think that you definitely need to find practice partners to role play this with, and not, it could be some Brivity VAs. In fact, why don't I do this? I'm gonna find out who my boy Sean Ann is using and see if he could role play with you.
Yes, that would
Um,
be great.
yeah, and then also other people, but you should, like the agents, find 5 role play partners. I understand Evan stopped role playing with you.
Yeah, it's supposed to be always every Wednesday, but I do have a role